Today we're diving deep into a topic that is absolutely crucial for anyone with a website. Mastering core web vitals. If you've ever felt frustrated by a slow, clunky website, you know how important speed is. But it's not just about feeling fast. Google uses these metrics to rank your site. So, if you want more traffic, better user engagement, and higher rankings, you're in the right place. We're going to break down what core web vitals are, why they matter, and most importantly, give you actionable steps to optimize your site. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete guide to making your website blazingly fast. Ready to speed things up? Let's get started. First up, let's demystify what these core web vitals actually are. Google introduced them as a set of specific factors that it considers important in a web page's overall user experience. Think of them as a health check for your site's performance from a user's perspective. There are three main pillars: largest contentful paint, or LCP, first input delay, or FID, and cumulative layout shift, or CLS. Together, they measure loading performance, interactivity, and visual stability. Why should you care? Because a good user experience keeps visitors on your site longer, reduces bounce rates, and signals to Google that your site is high quality. A poor score, on the other hand, can hurt your search engine rankings and drive potential customers away. In today's competitive online world, mastering these vitals isn't just a recommendation, it's a necessity for success. Let's tackle the first vital: largest contentful paint, or LCP. This metric measures how long it takes for the largest single piece of content to appear on the screen. This could be a big hero image, a video, or even a large block of text. Essentially, it marks the point when the main content of the page has likely loaded. A slow LCP makes a page feel sluggish, leaving users staring at a blank screen. Google recommends an LCP of 2.5 seconds or less. Anything over 4 seconds is considered poor. So, how do you improve it? The biggest culprit is often unoptimized images. Make sure your images are properly compressed and saved in modern formats like WebP. You can use tools like Squoosh or TinyPNG for this. Another huge factor is server response time. If your server is slow to respond to the browser's request, everything else gets delayed. Upgrading your hosting plan or using a content delivery network, a CDN, can make a world of difference. A CDN stores copies of your site in multiple locations around the globe, so content is delivered to users from a server that's geographically closer to them, slashing load times. We'll also talk about render blocking resources later, as they can seriously delay your LCP. Next on our list is first input delay, or FID. This metric measures the time from when a user first interacts with your page, like clicking a link or tapping a button, to the time when the browser is actually able to respond to that interaction. Have you ever tried to click something on a page and nothing happens for a frustrating second or two? It's a high FID. It's a measure of your site's responsiveness. For a good user experience, pages should have an FID of 100 milliseconds or less. The primary cause of a poor FID is heavy JavaScript execution. When the browser's main thread is busy parsing and executing large JavaScript files, it can't respond to user input. To fix this, you need to break up long tasks. Instead of one massive script that blocks the main thread, split your code into smaller, asynchronous chunks. You can also defer non-critical JavaScript. This means loading scripts that are unessential for the initial page view only after the main content has loaded. For example, JavaScript for a chatbot widget or social sharing buttons can almost always be deferred. By freeing up the main thread, your site can respond to user actions almost instantly, creating a much smoother and more pleasant experience. Now, let's talk about the one that can be the most visually jarring: cumulative layout shift, or CLS. This metric measures the visual stability of your page, quantifies how much a page's content unexpectedly moves around during the loading process. You've definitely experienced this. You go to click a button, but just as you do, an ad loads above it, shifting the entire page down, and you end up clicking something else entirely. It's incredibly frustrating. A low CLS score means your page is stable and predictable. Google recommends a CLS of 0.1 or less. The most common causes of a high CLS are images, ads, or embeds without specified dimensions. When the browser doesn't know how much space to reserve for these elements, It loads the text first, and then when the media finally loads, it pushes everything else around. The fix is simple. Always include width and height attributes for your images and video elements. For ads or iframes, reserve the space with CSS. For example, you can create a container div with a fixed height and width where the ad will eventually load. This tells the browser to save that spot, preventing any layout shifts. Another culprit can be web fonts, which can cause a flash of invisible or unstyled text. Using font display, swap in your CSS can help manage this, ensuring a fallback font is shown until your custom font is ready. So we've covered what the core web vitals are and why they're so important. Now, how do you actually measure them for your own website? Fortunately, Google provides some excellent free tools. The first and most popular is PageSpeed Insights. You just enter your URL, and it gives you a detailed report on your core web vitals for both mobile and desktop, along with a list of specific recommendations for improvement. It even provides field data, which is performance data collected from real Chrome users visiting your site. This is the most accurate picture of your user experience. Another essential tool is Lighthouse, which is built right into the Chrome developer tools. You can run a Lighthouse audit on any page. It will generate a comprehensive report on performance, accessibility, SEO, and more. It simulates different network conditions and devices, giving you lab data to diagnose issues before your users experience them. I recommend using both. PageSpeed Insights gives you the real-world overview, while Lighthouse is perfect for digging in, testing changes, and debugging issues on the fly. Regularly monitoring these scores is key to maintaining a high-performance website. Now let's get into some more advanced optimization strategies that will supercharge your scores. One of the most effective methods is implementing a high-performance caching plugin, especially if you're using a CMS like WordPress. Caching creates static HTML versions of your pages. So instead of the server having to process PHP and query the database for every single visit, it can just serve a pre-built, lightweight HTML file. This dramatically reduces server response time, which, as we discussed, is a huge factor for LCP. Plugins like WP Rocket or Lightspeed Cache are fantastic options. They not only handle page caching, but also offer a suite of other optimization features, like minification. Minification is the process of removing all unnecessary characters from your code like whitespace and comments without changing its functionality. This makes your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files smaller, so they download faster. Many caching plugins will also help you with combining files and deferring JavaScript, which helps improve your FID score. Setting up a good caching plugin is probably the single biggest win you can get for your site's speed, with the least amount of effort. Finally, let's talk about two foundational elements of site speed: image optimization and server response time. We touched on images earlier, but it's worth a deeper look. Beyond compression and using next-gen formats like WebP, you should also implement lazy loading. Lazy loading defers the loading of off-screen images. This means images that are below the fold or not immediately visible will only start to load as the user scrolls down the page. This significantly speeds up the initial page load and improves your LCP, because the browser can focus on rendering what's immediately visible. As for server response time, also known as time to first byte or TTFB, this is the bedrock of your site's performance. You can have the most optimized front-end in the world, but if your server takes seconds to even start sending data, your site will still be slow. If you're on cheap, shared hosting, this is often the bottleneck. Consider upgrading to a better hosting plan, like a managed WordPress host or a virtual private server, VPS. Also, ensure your server is using the latest version of PHP, as newer versions offer significant performance improvements. Optimizing your server and your images will create a rock-solid foundation for excellent core web vitals and a fantastic user experience. And there you have it, a complete guide to understanding and mastering core web vitals. We've covered what LCP, FID, and CLS are, and why they are so critical for your site's success. We've gone over how to measure them with tools like PageSpeed Insights and Lighthouse. And we've walked through actionable strategies from optimizing images and deferring JavaScript to implementing powerful caching and improving your server response time. It might seem like a lot, but start with the low-hanging fruit. Run a page speed test, see what it recommends, and tackle one thing at a time. Even small improvements can make a big difference in your rankings and, more importantly, in how your visitors experience your website. The journey to a faster site is ongoing, so keep testing and tweaking. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. See you in the next one.